Welcome back to the channel. I am Joe. We've got the 470 back in the garage for yet another video. We're going to be adding some more lighting. Again, thanks to Lasfit Auto Lighting, we are going to be installing their brand new rock lights. Longtime viewers of the channel, you'll remember that I have their fog lights and driving lights up front. I have the yellow fogs and the white driving lights. I have all of their LED bulbs in my headlight assemblies. I've got some bulbs out back, and of course I have one of their small LED light bars in the front of the 3rd gen 4Runner, which is currently outside. So let's get these down on the bench, open them up, take a look. All right, now like I said, these are brand new from Lasfit. Open this up, and of course we've got awesome packaging always from them. We've got 4 LED pods. We've got pre-made wiring harness, hardware, and stuff like that. The cool thing about these is they are a dual light, so it comes with a 2-way switch. They're either white or amber, which is really cool. We've got behind and front. Unusual choice of words, but you get the idea. Basically it's a length of wiring harness, so behind, back of the car, if you will, longer harness, front of the car, shorter harness. So let's pop one of these open here and get one out. Really nice aluminum housing, nice really soft malleable rubber mounting surface for the back. Couple different options where you want to run your wiring off to the side, straight out the back. You can run it all the way through, and of course, you know, hardware on the sides. Man, those are really nice. Plenty of wiring, screwed together, weatherproof connectors. So yeah, there's the pods. Let's go ahead and pull out the hardware and the wiring real quick. Stainless steel hardware. That's something I'm not really looking forward to doing, is having to figure out, I've yet to figure out where I'm going to mount these in the wheel wells. Drill some holes, and you need to be able to get to the back of it to put the nuts on those bolts. But anyway, full wiring harness here. It's not the best looking switch in the world, but you know, it'll work. I have not yet figured out where I want to mount the switch either. You guys know that I really like to have pretty slick switches mounted in slick areas. I like to make it, it's like OEM plus, if you will. And then we have all of the wiring to hook up to those pods. And looks like, let's see, we got, you must be able to add longer wiring and or more pods. Plenty of wiring, even sent zip ties. So I need to figure out where I'm going to mount them, because I have no idea. All right, I've got the lights mounted on a couple different brackets. I figured I would show you guys how I've got them on the brackets before we crawl underneath and actually mount them to the car. For the fronts, I've just got these, what are they, like 5-inch brackets from the hardware store. Drilled a couple holes and mounted the light to it, ran the cord out through the gasket, of course, and then we'll bolt them onto the body with the existing holes in that bracket. Same idea I'm going to do in the back, but I've got these T brackets. I put a little bit of a bend in it, and I'll show you that more down below. Had to drill the holes a little bit bigger for where I'm going to mount them, and then of course I had to drill holes across the top to mount the actual light. A couple things real quick that I want to make note of. The rubber gasket pads, whatever you want to call them, Lasfit's got here. Very neat idea, very good idea. Could be considerably better, I feel like. They've got the tracks in it so you can route the wiring through. It's nice that you can have some kind of rubber isolator between the light and wherever you're mounting it. That's great. They are, I kind of showed you earlier, kind of concave. I think the idea there was if you wanted to mount it to the roll cage of your side-by-side. Side-by-sides are huge right now as far as popularity, especially for lighting like this. However, To mount them, if you were going to do that to your roll cage, you'd have to drill a hole into your cage to put the bolt, but then you'd have to drill all the way through the cage to put a nut on the other side of the bolt. You have to go all the way through it, which pretty sure you don't want to be drilling holes, unnecessary holes in your roll cage. Maybe it's not a huge deal, but I don't know. I think probably a better idea would have been to make a way to attach the light to the gasket surface and then put some kind of a groove so that you could use zip ties or stainless steel hose clamps. They make it like a stylized, better version of that, but you get the idea that you could clamp it to your roll cage, and when you are trying to attach these gaskets to a flat surface, the fact that it's concave kind of makes it a pain in the butt. So I don't know. The idea is really good. Maybe a future version of this will be even better, but still, it still works really well, and it's better than a lot of the stuff that I've seen out there, just for the fact that you can run the cable out the side and you have some vibration dampening. Anyway, let's crawl underneath and show you where I'm going to mount these. All right, here I've got the front one mounted. Now, I admittedly don't love the placement of this because of the spray off from the tire, but it mounted perfectly with that bracket. There's two holes here. I just got some stainless screws. I did have to trim a little piece of plastic, but it bolted up perfectly there. It fits perfect there. The light displacement is awesome there. I'll run it for the time being. Maybe I'll move it. It was kind of difficult trying to find another place to mount it because everywhere else it was still getting spray from the tire, or there was rock slider bars in the way, casting really big shadows, cutting out most of the light beam. So we'll go for there in the front ones for now. And for the rear, here we have, these are just the factory bolts and bolt holes for the original running boards. So got a nice T-bracket there. This is why I've got that bend in it, so I can kind of point that where I want it. But the beam pattern is great there. That's fantastic. I love where that is. And I've just run the wiring just up along the frame rail. I still need to kind of zip tie up everything out of place. But we go up to the front, and I've got the wire here, and I went up inside the frame rail, up into the engine compartment. I've got the wiring. It's kind of hard for you guys to see, but here's the two wires here, and it runs down up next to basically the AC lines. And again, I need to get some more zip ties and get it placed properly, but it's away from all of the exhaust and moving parts. It actually worked really well. And then I've got it across here with the rest of my wiring for stuff. There was plenty of wiring. It was like the exact perfect amount of wiring actually for this side, and of course I'll have plenty more for the other side because I'll be hooking up the main harness over there. But we're going to do that in next week's video because of course I have something a little extra that I'm going to do with the wiring. Well, that wraps this week's video up. Like I said, next week's video I'll show you the wiring. Of course, I'm gonna ditch the factory switch that it came with, do something a little extra as I tend to do with my wiring, and of course I'll show you guys how the lights look. But you got a quick look at the product and some of my ideas on how to install it. Of course, there is 1,000 ways that you can install those lights. This is a good first step. If I run them and I decide I want to move them, I can do that. Of course, the harness has 8 leads on it, so if you want to have 8 lights, you know, ideally, if you're actually going to use these for rock crawling or off-roading, you'd put one in front of the tire, one behind the tire at all 4 corners. And yeah, so there's that. If you got any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them down below. Email me, hawkeyeskunkworks@gmail.com. And of course, I will leave a link in the description over to Lasfit's website where you can go buy your own set of rock lights with a discount. So check that out. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, click the like button, and until the next video drops, thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.